Welcome to the Holding Priority Podcast, the Magic the Gathering CEDH podcast. I'm Cardboard Cryptid.
I'm the Gaming Ghost.
On today's episode, we will discuss our Atlanta tournament, the AGL CCS 10,000 CEDH main event that had 110 players at it.
It was a real fun event. Lots of big wigs there. It was fun, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we both got to play against somebody special. And speaking about somebody special, we have a guest with us.
My name is Cully. I also go by Umistrix on your Behance or any of the ArtStation, any of these apps or social medias.
So you go by your mistress, or can you spell it out?
Umistrix, UMASTRYX. It's actually a play on words or it's a genealogy of what dragons would actually be.
That sounds boring. Before we get he is a fan of the podcast and a local Magic the Gathering player, so we all went together and we were glad to have him.
Yeah, we play with him quite a bit.
Yeah, he's not great.
Nice. He's pretty good.
He did better than me, spoiler alert. Before we get into it though, let's go into the shuffle up. And it's not working. Oh, there it is. It's delayed. All right. Live podcast here. So we just did our Edge of Eternities review. We did the Commander and the main set. If you guys checked that out, thank you so much. If you guys checked it out and you bought singles with our TCG player link, thank you. If you're listening to this episode and you didn't check them out, shame on you. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for listening at all.
Everybody looked at it.
Yeah. We do have a link tree if you're curious about our TCG player link. No cost to you. You can just grab some cards there. Helps out the podcast. Usually when we get some money in through that, we use it to upgrade the podcast. If you enjoy the sound effects, that's where it came from viewers like you. We do have a Ko-Fi as well, or Coffee. I don't know how to pronounce it, but if you guys are just like, I really like the podcast, I just want to throw them a pack or two, they're cool dudes. You can use that link, goes directly to us. Don't have to buy any cards, and it's a cool way to support the channel.
We have an addiction to cards.
We do. We bought quite a lot in Atlanta. And then just remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell. And if you are listening on your podcast area of choice, please set us to auto download. And if you have already, just please rate the podcast or leave a comment. I did see that Spotify has comments now, and I always forget about it. So I left one on our last podcast. I think we've gotten 2 ever, but it's still cool. All right, let's get into the AGL CCS 10k CEDH main event. I'm going to call that the Atlanta CEDH Tournament from now on. But if you guys want to look it up on Top Deck, that's the really long name of it. So I'll kind of start out that all of us drove from Texas all the way to Atlanta. It was like a 12-hour trip. Took a long time. We took 5 days off to do it.
Shout out to Cryptid for driving. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
I will not do it again. No, it's pretty easy. Like, if you just kind of look at it as a long work shift, we pretty much took our 2 breaks and lunch break, kind of. I think we only stopped like 3 or 4 times, so it was easy to knock out in one sitting. But I think we left at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. Each time, and we ended up getting there around like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. So it was long, but it was definitely worth it. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We went to, was it Charlie's Collectibles was the name of the place? Yeah, Charlie's Collectibles show. That was a lot of fun.
It was a really interesting place too, considering, most of the time when we go to tournaments, it's a little local shop. This was like a almost like a convention.
It was like
similar.
a antique mall,
Yeah.
but like an antique mall that was also a like full convention by itself.
With all of like the nerdy stuff you would want in it.
I had a really hard time not buying a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
I didn't buy much there. I did get a few new upgrades, like a Force of Will and some other random little things. What I was going into it pretty excited about was the difference in scene.
yeah,
Because, normally we usually go to
Texas area. Yeah,
Texas area, Dallas area, Kilgore-ish. But just to see what the meta was and what the differences would have been, I was kind of surprised.
I think everybody that was playing Blue Farm was from Texas. So
Oh, really?
it was crazy. I only saw 2 of them.
Oh, there was a few. I played at least one in each, one in a few of my pods for sure.
I played 1 Blue Farm the entire time, which is really rare. You want to get into round 1?
So whenever we start out going to these tournaments, we usually hope and pray that we don't go against each other first round.
Yeah.
And I think I had probably worst case scenario. Like the pod matchup was Blue Farm, which was a pretty decently sized streamer, I think. I'm not going to name drop too many. And then me as Blue Farm. And then Kenan, which was another pretty big contender.
I think we can just say comedian.
Comedian was there.
The best, yeah.
And then another Kenan. So 2 Kenans, 2 Blue Farms. Right out the bat, a really heated game. Went to time. The big highlights to it was somebody put win on the stack. I was the only one able to do anything at the cost of a consultation play, which always ends in a fail for me. Like there's no scenario where I favor that.
Yeah, it hits all of your win cons always.
Every single one. Fortunately, win cons all were gone. I knew that was happening. But I had enough counters and silences left to stall the game.
Yeah.
And I answered problem after problem. The other Kenan that was not comedian was just jamming win after win after win. Like he had a god hand. And then the other Blue Farm player, he seen his window and tried to go for it, and I ended up stopping him. I pretty much stopped the entire table, I think. And we went to time on my turn and ended up drawing. But I had offered a draw like 5 times trying to just
yeah.
But no, round 1 was a draw for me. It was a really heated game.
I guess we can go like clockwise, like we're playing Magic. So.
That's fine.
Yeah. So my round 1, I was in a really high seeded pod 4. I don't really know how the system works, but I guess it was people that had like pretty good like elo from top deck, but it was pretty awful. So it was 2 Analas, seat 1 and 2, then a Kenan, the king. Kenrith, yeah. Kenrith, and then me with Hashatan seat 4. And Anala. Oh, I was also in clown makeup. Let me not skip over that. Yeah, I had been kind of joking around with our local group that I was just like, hey, I'm gonna make a couple of memes where I'm in clown makeup and I'm going to pretend to be people that we play with. So like one of them, I was just like, oh man, a 1 land hand, I can definitely keep this. And then I sent that video into the group and everybody liked it. So I did like 3 or 4 more. And then it kind of became a like, oh, well, if we're going to go to this big event, like you should wear clown makeup. And I mean, like I thought it was going to be like a convention. So I didn't think I was going to be the odd one out, but I was the only person that was dressed up and I had full clown makeup on. And everybody kept asking me if I played Kefka, and I was just like, who's that?
It was a sight.
Yeah. But it was 2 Analas, which Anala is scary because Anala is like basically always on the field. Like Anala never leaves the command zone. The combo is really complicated, but it's one of those things that even though the combo is complicated, like it's not too hard to pull off. And it was just both Analas were like jamming it, and I was pretty much seat 4 in sheriff duty, and I was just like, I'm not getting anything but a tie. Like if I can get a tie in seat 4 round 1 against 2 Analas, I'm happy. One of the Analas played Kefka, and I didn't know that you could pay 1 to double Kefka. You would have to sack the token, but you would still get like everybody would discard 1, then you draw a whole bunch, and then everyone would discard 1 again, and you'd have to draw a whole bunch. And Kefka's pretty new, so like the table didn't want to talk about what they were discarding. They were like, well, we'd rather just do it in silence. And I was just like, yeah, but I mean, if we just all discard a land, then we force Kefka to discard something better, and then they only draw 2. And like that's pretty much like, to me, the situation that you're going for is at a table of 4 people, like Kefka's going to draw at least 2, and you want them to draw the least amount. But it was one of those things where my hand was pretty low. I didn't really farm as much just because I was like, I really just need to get a tie. But yeah, one of them played Kefka, and that Kefka died, and I tried to reanimate it, and someone countered my reanimate, and I was like, really? Like, I can't have Kefka in the clown makeup. It was a lot of fun. I got to be like, oh yeah, we should let this resolve, and then like point to my face in the clown makeup. it was fun. Both Analas were going so hard that basically on Kenrith's turn, everybody could have put 1 on the stack but me. And they were like, hey, we're all kind of in a stalemate. If anybody puts 1 on the stack, all of us are going to try to put 1 on the stack, and only one of us are going to win. Whoever goes first is going to lose. We're all at a stalemate. Do we want to save ourselves some time and tie? And I was just like, absolutely. If I can get a tie against 2 Analas round 1 while I'm in seat 4, like I'll take it. And Kenrith was the only one that was kind of holding out. It was one of those things where I was just like, I mean, if you try to win, you can't do it at instant speed. Yeah, your turn is coming up, but like both Analas are going to try on top of you. And finally, he was just like, I see what you're saying. I didn't know they could do that. And I was like, yeah. So talking it out with him before his turn came up, he was like, yeah, I'll agree. Like all of us had gone so hard stopping each other. There was just not really any way anybody was going to win in the 80 minutes. So we all decided to tie about 40 minutes in, and we had a good 40-minute rest so that we could be fresh for round 2. Your mistress, how was your round 1?
Round 1 was pretty crazy for me. I'm on Timna Dargo at this event. Cardboard Cryptid actually talked me into it. I was going to play Rogthras, but I'm glad that I did because I did very well on it.
Did you wear clown makeup?
No.
You should have.
I did let my hair down, though. So round 1 for me was Kefka, me in second seat on Timna Dargo, Kenrith on third, and Blue Farm. I mull to 6. I see a decent hand of like Soul Ring, 2 lands, an Imperial Recruiter, and I'm like, yeah, this is a Timna or a turn 1, turn 2 Imperial Recruiter into an Orcish Bowmasters. That'll at least help me with their draw game. So that's what I did. I end up drawing for turn, and it's a Tataru Taru, and I'm like, oh, that's not bad. Like this is going places. So I end up land, Lotus Petal, Soul Ring, and then I imp recruiter for an Orcish Bowmaster. I pass the turn. Blue farm doesn't really do anything significant this turn, and then Kefka just puts out a couple rocks and makes it around. Kenrith may have put out a dork. They didn't do too much either. Turn 2 rolls around. I slam down Timna. I think I have enough to put down Tatara Taro also, and I attack. I get a card. Pass to Kenrith. He does the same thing. He just kind of puts down a Polywog, and then we pass to Blue Farm, who's like, okay, I want to start rolling. He throws up a Dark Writ into a Necropotence, and we're all kind of aware of like the situation of like, okay, he may be in 4th seat, but he's still about to just wreck us. He doesn't pay down that much life, and instead he just goes to pay 7, draw 7, discards, leaves it alone. Cool. At this point, I think I have enough mana to drop down an Orcish Bowmaster. I don't, though, and I leave it alone. He plays another rock. Kefka does, and he doesn't do too much after that. He ends up trying to pass to me, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, sure. I play down a couple more value pieces. I hold up a lot of mana because of Orcish Bowmasters and in my hand, and then I also just drew a Bolus of Citadel. So I'm like, we're getting somewhere. I attack because Kefka is still open, and I am able to draw into a couple more cards, and I think Blue Farm was open. So I draw 2 cards. I pass the turn again. Kenrith, they play like a Kennen and then leave open mana for Blue Farm, which, right play, wonderful, great. Blue Farm plays down a Bergie, and we're all on high alert. We're kind of like stressing a little bit.
That sounds scary. Yeah.
Yeah, and he ends up not doing too much after that, and just passes turn to Kefka. Well, I realize what's about to happen. He throws down Kefka. Or he's about to get draws off of Kefka. I don't know if he was already on the board, if he attacked at this point. Or if he's attacking, and that's how he's drawing. So I throw out Orcish. I kill the Bergie. And I explained to the guy, I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to pick on you, or anything like that, but I do need to get through because I have Timna. I need to do the things. He's like, yeah, I get it. I understand.
It's also Bergie and Blue.
Yeah. He put himself in a bad. I mean, it's just kind of how it played out. So I kill the Bergie. He passes to my turn. I'm able to attack the Timna player, the Blue Farm player, and I draw a card. I'm like, man, this is a crazy hand. Like, I have a Silence, I have a Mana Vault, so I don't think it's a good time to do this, but I do have a Tainted Pact. I pass to Kenrith. He puts a 1/1 counter with an Agatha's Soul Cauldron on his Polywog, and I'm like, okay, so he's about to start drawing. He's getting set up. I think I have a Yawgmoth at this point, too. I play down Yawgmoth because I know... I'm like, we got to roll somewhere. We got to do something. We got to at least be proactive. I think I sack off my Tatara Taro to put a -1/-1 on Polywog because I'm like, I don't really want you drawing too much. Like, you do have some cards in hand, but I also used to play Kenrith. Like, I know where things are at. We pass over to the Blue Farm. He throws down an Orcish to kill my own Orcish. And I'm like, hey, I can sack off Orcish and put a -1/-1 on Kefka, and we can kill Kefka before he untaps and gets to like start just swinging on us. He's down and about it. I'm like, hey, I'll end up sacking off my whole board. Timna's gonna go, the Orc army, the Orc, and we'll be in a good spot. We can kill off Kefka, and he'll have to kind of recover. And he's like, yeah, I'm about it. So we do that. We passes to Kefka. And Kefka realizes, he's like, that was my plan, was to draw. So he plays a couple cards, leaves it alone. I have enough mana to Tainted Pact during his end step. First card I flip off the top is a Grand Abolisher. I put it down, and then it passes over to me. I put down the Grand Abolisher, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's throw it down. That was a very jumbled win. Because I had Yawgmoth, I ended up throwing down Bolus of Citadel, and I'm able to draw into the pieces I need to just win.
So that was a win for you, 5 points?
Yeah. Round 1 was a win for me.
Yeah, so round 1 was Ghost with 1 point, me with 1 point, your mistress with 5 points. You can correct me.
No, it's fine. It is what it is.
I genuinely just can't remember your name, honestly. Your mistress.
You mistrix.
You mistrix.
You mistrix.
So like Mister. You're Mistrix.
Or like think of it as like U Matrix.
You Matrix.
Yeah,
You
that-
Mistrix.
I think yeah, U Matrix.
Okay, I got it. You're mistress. And that brings us to round 2. So if you want to go,
So my round 2 was a little bit crazy. I was seeing a theme with this tournament, or maybe it was the players I was in, or the matching I was in. However, it was seat 1 was Atali, seat 2 was Rogthras, I was Blue Farm in seat 3, and then it was Krark Shakashima in seat 4.
that sounds awful.
It was bad. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I knew going into this game that if Atali had all of the things, we've lost turn 2. If he didn't, it's me and Rog Thras that are gonna try and get a draw engine out for Krakashima.
Yeah. I mean, draw engine stopped both of them, so
Unfortunately, I was 1 turn away from dropping a Ristic Study, and it popped off the turn before, and Rogthras had a Remora on the field.
yeah.
So I was begging Krakashima halfway through his stuff. I was like, please just stop.
Yeah.
And he drew Rogthras probably 15 cards. And I was like, oh man, this is bad. Then he can't finish up, so he passes to Atali. Atali tries to just cast Atali. I was all about it.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Krakashima decided that he was going to police Atali. And I was like, man,
Let the person with 20 cards in hand do that.
please,
Yeah.
please police Rogthras. Didn't do it. He polices Atali into the ground, like mind breaks Atali off the stack, just goes into a bunch of stuff. We go to Rogthras, and I was like, just show me the win, man.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you were right. I ended up drawing it like 7th card in. I was pretty much here. I was like, yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising when you get 7 extra cards that you could just win all of a sudden.
I didn't realize that Rao really works well with Krakashima. Unfortunately, though, Krakashima is still one of those decks that's you have to be highly skilled in when you go, because there's too much that can happen while you're trying to storm, especially in a Ristic Mystic meta.
Yeah. I mean, you also don't have much good removal for that stuff either. So once those come down, you're kind of like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, I will say that I should have played I should have tried to rush out a commander. That way I could have had some of my free interaction. But even then, man, I had like one I had a Fierce Guardian, and then like a Pact of Negation. And I was like, he knows I have a Pact of Negation. As soon as I play it, he'll counter it. But I'll go through the motions if we want to. And yeah, he had like four counter spells. So I was like, we're done. But mine was a loss.
my round 2 was kind of crazy. So I was seat 1, and I don't really remember what I was going against. It was me in seat 1. The streamer that you said that you had gone against, the bigger one that we didn't really know, that was on Blue Farm. They were seat 3. We had the God Bridge. I always forget her name. Asika, yeah, seat 2. And then we had Tana Malcolm, seat 4. And he was very, very proud of his deck, and he was very, very proud that he was there. And I'm sure he's good at the deck, but I also just went off turn 3. Everybody else's turn 2. So I look at my hand and I'm just like, okay, I have a Lion's Eye Diamond, I have Sharoom, and I have a Fierce Guardianship. And I was like, my turn 1, not going to be all that great. Maybe everybody will kind of lay off of me if I just go get a Surveil land, because I don't have a 1-drop. And then I can get, I can go ahead and get my commander out. And then after that, I can go, I didn't have Tiny Bones joined up. I had a Demonic Consultation for it. And I was like, I can go get that with Demonic Consultation and then just attempt on turn 3. So I'm kind of watching on my turn 2. I watch everybody tap out because everybody's in that build phase. And I'm like, okay, great. So I start out the turn. I Demonic Consultation for my Tiny Bones joins up, and like every single win con is gone now. I'm just like, this has to work. You know, I go like 75 cards deep. Like I have nothing left in my deck, which I mean always happens whenever I try. And I put out Tiny Bones joins up. I make them all discard because I'm like, they're all tapped out, no mana available. If they all have to discard, maybe one of them will have to discard what could stop me. Then I lay down the Lion's Eye Diamond, and everybody's like, okay, like clearly he's up to something. You don't Demonic Consultation for a Tiny Bones joins up and not be like too upset that all of your win cons are gone. Like he's going. And I look, and the guy that's playing Blue Farm is just like, I can stop you. Don't go for it. And I was just like, with the Fierce Guardianship in my hand, I was just like, we're beyond me not going for it. I'm sorry. So I play the Lion's Eye Diamond. He plays a Fierce Guardianship, and I'm just like, fair enough. I have one too. And then he shows me a Mindbreak Trap. And I'm just like, what are the chances that everybody's tapped out and there's 2 free pieces of interaction with no draw? Like that had to be in his opening hand. He kept a Mindbreak Trap and a Fierce Guardianship. So I'm just like, hey guys, like, let's just tie. You know, like I'm going for it. Blue Farm, you're gonna have to give up all interaction to stop me. The bridge is either gonna try to push or the other person's gonna try to push. Me and you are out. Me and you will probably agree to a tie. The other 2, maybe not. Maybe they'll try to push and they just want to play. But you can hold us hostage and say, like, I am not going to play this Mindbreak Trap if we all don't agree to a tie. And I did not think that the table was going to go for it. I thought the person that was going to win would just be like, yeah, you know, I'm just, no, you know, stop him. Because either way, he's probably not going to let somebody win right now and then take the chance on the other 2. But the entire table was like, yeah, you know, you blew out, you were seat 1, you blew out on turn 3. There just happened to be 2 pieces of interaction for you. We'll all tie. There's not really much point for us to keep playing, because I was like, I'm an Esper. I can just make absolutely sure that we tie. I was just like, I can turn into just silence, counter, not really care what's going on, because I had not exiled any of my silences or counters at all. And they had all like seen it and kind of looked through, and they were like, yeah, you know, I don't really think this is a great idea for us to tie, but also like just giving the win away to somebody else is probably not great. So I actually kind of mess up. I get on my phone and I'm like, don't worry guys, I'll report it. And I had kind of like long fingernails and I was like not used to them yet. And I accidentally, on top deck, there's no confirmation. Like it just has I won and I tied. So I thought that I hit, we tied. And apparently I hit I won, but there's no confirmation. It's just you press one of the buttons and then the screen goes away. It doesn't tell you which one you did. So luckily one of the judges saw everybody like walking away and they were like, hey, you know, who won? And they were like, oh, we tied. It's like, oh, that guy reported it as a win. And I'm in clown makeup and one of them comes over and like luckily he's really cool and he's like, you clown on us? And I was like, huh? And he's like, the judge said that you reported it as a win. And like in my head I'm just like, the judge like sold me out, like, but I was like, I really didn't mean that. Like, I'm here with my podcast. I'm really not, I wouldn't do that on accident. I thought I pressed that everybody tied. I would have felt really bad if like it had been reported as a win and no one had caught it, and we just went to round 3 and like the whole tournament like was messed up.
That's one of my biggest fears at the end of these tournaments is because like it's kind of to the players to say they won or lost.
Well, there's also just no confirmation. Like you press one of the buttons and then the screen goes away.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, that's one of my biggest fears when I'm trying to report.
I mean, shout out to the judges, because the judges were like, let's double check. Because I mean, they were like right across the way. They saw me blow out, so they could have just been like, yeah, we saw him blow out. Clearly, he won if everybody's getting up. But I mean, good on them. I felt really bad. I apologize to everybody. I even found one person. I was just like, hey, somebody let me know that I accidentally like reported the win. Like, I really did not mean that. And they were like, oh, I didn't even know that. And I was like, well, you do now. But I was like, yeah, my bad. But that is a tie for me on round 2.
Round 2 was probably the scariest pod I think I've been in for a little bit now. It was Clue Farm, which is the pseudo Blue Farm, Will and 11 from Stranger Things. And then Ral Monsoon Mage was seat 2. Seat 3 was another Tim Nadargo, and then I'm in 4th seat. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. Like, I'm in 4th seat, and there's another Tim Nadargo right in front of me. Like, they're gunning it. Ral's gunning it. Like, well, this is not fun. This is not going to be a good game. I end up being able to have a Path of Exile into my hand turn 1. And I'm like, okay, that's at least stopping Ral, or I can at least disrupt Ral. Which was kind of the idea in general, because I figured that Clue Farm would be able to stop the other Tim Nadargo or like interact with him. And I was trying to judge how things were going to go before we started. I did not realize. I want to say that the Clue Farm was kind of casual just because I saw an Omniscience. I don't know if that actually goes in that deck. There was an Omniscience that he dropped at one point, like not from his hand or cast, but he had drawn too many cards. That one was very lackluster. I think we ended up losing turn 4 to Ral. I did Path of Exile it turn 2 because he started to try to go on it. There was no point where I saw a win con in my hand, or a way to win. I just kept getting interaction pieces. I silenced the table. I had also done the Flame Scroll Mage, where it's a silence on the back. I had Path of Exiled, and it got to a point where Ral was going off on turn 4, and I was considering Tainted Pacting for anything. But what made me stop was, and just be like, you know what, let's let it ride, was he put a Time Twister and was like, all right, we're gonna Time Twister. And I'm like, I have 2 mana. I can leave all this up, and I can either hope for a silence, hope for a path, or hope for the flame scroll again. And what I drew did not turn into that, and no one else drew interaction. The Blue Farm, the Clue Farm, whatever, they had they tried to help and they tried to stop, but they weren't. I'd say it was a little more casual deck. I definitely saw a lot of things that I've never seen in CDH. I've seen a lot of these things in casual, so I wouldn't blame that on him. I think he tried hard. He definitely hit him with a Mind Break. He definitely hit him with a Flusterstorm and a Force of Will. So he was putting in work, but we just couldn't pull through, and Rao ended up beating us.
And that is the end of our round 2. So we've got Ghost with a tie and a loss, 1 point. Me with 2 ties, 2 points. And then your Mistress, your Matrix, 5 points. So a win and a loss. You want to kick off round 3, Ghost?
I will say they're like that in real life all the time. This was the entire drive to Atlanta. I was in the back seat, and I would pass out occasionally and wake back up, and they would be at it again. It was pretty funny.
I legitimately don't remember the name. It just falls out of my head every time.
So round 3, I'm kind of bummed. I I got my draw with some really good players, and then I went into round 2 like running straight into a wall and being done. And then round 3, I was hopeful. It wasn't great. So it was Krark Thas, seat 1, Blue Farm, which is me, seat 2, Garuda, I think is what the name is.
Oh, yeah.
Seat 3,
Companion.
and then Kenrith,
the
seat 4.
the clone giant companion. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the clone deck.
Yeah.
So
blue black. I think he cost 6, something crazy like that. Yeah. Blue black Atali-ish, I guess. It's a slot machine deck.
I start this game with a god hand. I turn 1 Timna. Turn 2, I think I play like a Taru or something. Like I was going. Did not help like that. I had never played a Garuda deck, and every once in a while those decks get exactly the royal flush hand and goes. I was pretty much farming turn 1. We were in it. He was going for it turn 2, and I chose to play Taru instead of hold up some interaction because turn 2, mono blue. The other 2 guys.
Well, it's blue black, I thought.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. So they
Yeah,
can
it
run
was.
Dark
It was.
Ritual.
It was. Yeah. Sorry, I looked at this deck as it started, and I was like, "There's no way to stop this now."
I mean, it's all clones and black mana, really.
But anyway, I thought I was going for it. Like I thought I was in a good spot because I was able to swing. I think I had a Ragavan at one point. I think that's what it was. I think it was Timna Ragavan turn 1. Turn 2, I was able to hit, and then turn 3 he won, and he was like, "Okay, well, mill the top X cards. I'm going to copy it, mill the top X cards." I was like, "Oh."
I have the card up if you want me to read it, because
You can,
I
yeah,
need to
please.
refresh myself too. So it's Garuda, Doom of Depths, 4 generic, and then hybrid blue-black mana twice. So it's 6 CMC. Legendary creature, Demon Kraken. When Garuda enters the battlefield, each player mills 4 cards. Put a creature card with an even mana value from among the milled cards onto the battlefield under your control. It's a 6/6. So basically, you just run a bunch of clones, and you hope that you never hit a clump of lands. So that person was pretty lucky that every time they went through their deck, they hit a clone every single time.
It was the scary. It was by far the scariest deck I played. Now I do feel like all of the stars aligned for this
Yeah.
deck. However, I was like, "What is this?"
I mean, you could easily hit 2 lands, a rock, and a counter and just be like, "Aw, dang." You know, like,
The only card that was pulled out of our stuff was
it would have to be a clone.
nope. It was God, what was that card?
It had to be an even card.
Yeah, it was the black one that puts everything underneath it. I just
Oh,
can't.
Dothy.
Dothy
Yeah.
Voidwalker.
Oh,
And-
okay.
And
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that is terrible."
Yeah.
And
They didn't have to stop the combo, though, to do that?
nope. However he did it, I think he had one in his hand too.
Yeah, I was about to say, he would have had to cast it, yeah.
But it was so much
Yeah.
that once it started, I shook his hand. I was like, "Man, that was crazy."
It's a slot machine deck. Like, not to say that it doesn't take some skill, but like, you could easily pay 6 and then get halfway through your deck and be like, "Oh, I hit 3 lands and a rock," or like, you know, like, there's not enough even clones to where you're just like, "Oh yeah, I play Garuda and I'm just guaranteed to win." You know?
Initially, what ended up happening is he tosses out at the end of it,
Yeah.
and with Dothy Voidwalker, it was kind of disheartening
Yeah.
to watch all of our deck go under Dothy and no longer. I mean, every win con was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, this is over. I was like, do you guys have any win cons? Because this is gonna keep fiddling diddles until he's done. But it was done. So a big loss for me on round 3.
My round 3 was fantastic, let me tell you. So I get to round 3 and comedian sits down at my table and he's seat 1, which I'm already just like, oh no, And then the other 2 people sit down and they're playing Yuriko on seat 4, and this person's like, I've not played CDH. The tell to me was none of them knew who comedian was, because he sat down, he's like, hey, I'm Ian, and I was like, yeah, I've met you before. I showed him my tattoo and he was like, oh yeah, I remember you from Command Fest. Like, I didn't remember you at first because of the clown makeup. And I was like, fair. The guy that is seat 2 doesn't know him. The person that's in seat 4 is like, this is my first CEDH game, it's really fun. And it looked like somebody had made a proxy deck for their friend and was like, hey, if you do this with me, I'll pay your entry. And they were like, golly gee, that sounds cool. And it was just crazy. The guy that was in second seat was playing this commander I've never seen before. It was a mono blue artifact creature that gives all of your artifacts hexproof. And spoiler alert, his entire deck was just stacks with no win con. The win con was draw through his deck, or get a tie. It was rough. And when I sat down and we were all kind of shuffling up, I looked at everybody and I was just like, we are all 2 ties, right? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, one of us has to win. So like, while we're playing, keep that in mind. Like, we don't want to keep hands that just tie the game and lock up the game. One of us needs to walk away with a win, because if we don't walk away with a win, we're washed out. We need to do we need to win the next 2 rounds to have 13 points to get top 16. So I was just like, let's keep this in mind. And comedian's like, absolutely. We also weren't too sure. The event was advertised at 6 to 7 rounds, and that's kind of, I'm not going to say why we went out there, but we knew it was going to be a big one, and it looked like one that we would do a lot of. And they kind of dropped in the preamble, player meeting.
I want to say that they originally stated that it was supposed to cut to 32.
Yeah.
After the 6th one, and 7th was kind of questionable, but 6 rounds was what I thought was for sure.
Because the event on Top Deck said 6 to 7, and then when we were all doing our player meeting, they just kind of casually dropped that it would be 5 rounds, and if you didn't make it to top 16, you didn't go to day 2. And it was one of those things that I was questioning, and then when comedian sat down, I was just like, hey, is this 5 rounds? Because it was advertised by 6, and he was like, yeah, it's 5 rounds. And I was like, oh, that's poop. I'm sure it's kind of hard to do these events, but multiple times we've been told that we would do at least 6 or 4 rounds, and then we get there and they were like, well, we don't have enough players, so we're only going to do 3 rounds. And it's like, well, you advertised minimum of 4, so you really should do the 4. But I mean, there was 110 players, so top 16 was pretty hard to get. You were basically trying to win a mini event, to even get to day 2. So it was something where we all looked at each other and we were like, one of us needs to win. So comedian goes first. He's playing Kinnan, and he had seen Hashaton and he had played Hashaton, but I don't really think that he was fully understanding that. I was in a lower pod with him, so I wasn't doing really well. So in my mind, he was kind of just like, oh man, I'm kind of stuck with all these people. Oh no. Immediately he plays a land, and a Doric passes. The guy that's on mono blue just plays land, passes. I play a land, maybe a rock, and pass. And then Yuriko drops a Grafdigger's Cage. And he's just like, oh no. Grafdigger's Cage on Kennen is tough. Yeah. And they don't even know like how bad. They kind of just lock the game for him. So Comedian drops a Devoted Druid turn 2, and I'm just like, oh no, this is bad. The guy plays a Toper Orb right away. Or some other stacks. It wasn't a Toper Orb, but it was like
Torpor Orb, where the ETBs don't happen.
I think it was later. He played no, I think he did play a Toper Orb because it's when creatures enter the battlefield. It doesn't. Yeah,
no TB.
And I remember I had to read it because I had a Imposter Mech in my hand, and Imposter Mech is just a vehicle. And not that like clones entering really count as ETBs because they enter as, not like when they enter the battlefield.
I thought you meant like as in like you were worried about ETB, and I was like, I think it still stops it. But
well,
no,
if I copied something with an ETB,
yeah.
So I bring in Imposter Mech, but Imposter Mech's not even a creature, so you could still do an ETB. So I bring in Imposter Mech, and I try to copy Comedian's Devoted Druid. And he's like, what are you doing with infinite green mana? And I was just like, paying every Ristic study. And he was like, no. And I was like, I thought I'd try. I was like, paying generic costs and not having to worry about Ristic study if it comes out. So he's just like, I really don't want to, but I'm going to put 2/1/1 counters. I didn't know that you could untap Devoted Druid even if it's untapped and just kill it off, even if it has summoning sickness. So I'm just like, oh well, that kind of sucks, but at least I removed it, and then I still get to copy a Kennen, and then I drop a Mox Diamond and I get Hashton out too. And I was just like, man, Kennen's pretty good in this deck. Yuriko hard casts their commander because they haven't run into a ninja yet, and they're having a hard time. Comedian sets up some stuff. No, they had Devoted and Kennen that turn. Like they were going, and they set up some stuff, and then they pass. The guy that's playing mono blue artifacts like is just dropping stacks after stacks after stacks. I'm not. Maybe I just didn't see the win con, but it didn't seem after the event that I looked at his score. Didn't seem like he was playing to win at all. Which, I mean, maybe it just never came out, but I don't know. This person also had a custom mat where it was just the art of their commander with sunshades on it. And they seem to be one of those like, haha, I'm going to enter a CDH event and just play a bunch of stacks and tie a whole bunch. So it gets to my turn and I draw Meat Hook Massacre, and I'm just like, I'm just going to kill everything on the board. Like, so I Meat Hook Massacre for 2, kill everything but my Hashaton, and Comedian's completely set back. I have a copy of his Kennen on my side of the field. Yuriko's just done. Yuriko did not draw another land the entire game. They had 3 lands the entire rest of the game. It pretty much just gets to the point where it's pretty clear that it's me and Comedian doing a 1v1, and we have just somebody that's dropping hurdles in our way the entire time. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about my deck, and I'm just like, I don't really have a win con that Toper Orb, I can get through Toper Orb. So like, I'm going to have to Cyclonic Rift everything, because with his commander out, all of his artifacts have hexproof, so I can't just lift one of them. I have to lift the entire field. And I'm just like, this is awful. Like I'm gonna definitely like lose. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm in black. Like I can go get that card. And I top deck a Tainted Pact. And Comedian's like definitely trying to set up, but like he has all of these stacks and on top of it a Grafdigger's Cage. And I really don't care. Like I just can't reanimate my stuff, which isn't great, but like isn't terrible. So I look at my hand and I'm just like, I'll Tainted Pact. And the Comedian's eyes get really wide and he's like, what are you doing there, bud? And I'm just like, just trying to go get a big creature, I guess. I guess I'm not going to lie to you. And he's just like, okay, well, thank you for being transparent. I was going to counter it either way. But now that I know that you're getting a biggie, I was like, I'm not winning. He's like, I don't think anybody's winning in this pot, really. So he Fluster Storms All right, no, he tries to counter it, I believe, with a Flusterstorm, and I was just like, well, I have a Fierce Guardianship and I can pay for one. He was just like, okay, fair enough. I guess go ahead. And I go down maybe like 10 cards and I get a Razaketh. And I'm looking at my field and I'm just like, oh, sweet Jesus. I can just discard this Razaketh and I have enough mana to just put it out. So I discard Razaketh and I attempt to put it out. Pass, Yuriko has nothing to say about it. Pass, Comedian has nothing to say about it. Pass to the guy that's just been playing stacks. He runs Consign to Memory for some reason. And
so mad.
Oh, it gets better. Consign to Memory counters a colorless spell, or it counters a triggered ability, and you can replicate it. So he replicates it 3 times and just goes, just in case you can counter them. And I'm just like, I guess Razaketh just goes to the graveyard, and I pass. And I've had like a lot of mana this entire time, and literally what I was going to do is I was just going to play Razaketh, pass, and then I was going to Cyclonic Rift everything my next turn and try to win. Yuriko literally does nothing. Comedian gets to his turn, he draws, and it kind of looks like his eyes get wide, and he has Kinnan on field, and he drops a Basalt, which could have been countered by Consign to Memory, oddly. So he has Thrasios out, goes infinite mana, gets Mirage Mirror, infinite colored mana, and is just like, I can draw my entire deck. And the guy that's playing stacks is just like, I need you to play it out. And he has 1 card in hand, and I'm just like, what could he have? Like, he did Consign to Memory me, and I like kind of like look at him and I'm just like, hey, do you know how Kinnan works? Like, not trying to be mean. And he's like, yeah, this is what I have. And he shows me a Swan Song, and I'm just like, I don't get that. And then Comedian's just like, I'll play it out. I actually do like to play it out. And he plays out every single Thrasios draw till he gets to the spell that I always call it Poop Dinosaurs, but Finale of Devastation. Finale of Devastation. He gets down to Finale of Devastation, has enough creatures on the field to kill us, and he's just like, game, and the guy's like, well, I had a Swan Song, and like throws it down. He was like, if you're gonna win, I'm gonna make it. Looks him in the eyes and goes, if you're gonna win, I'm gonna make it torture for you. And he was just like, I actually like doing that. Thank you. And then everybody gets up. I'm like, yeah, good game. And everybody gets up, and like in my head, I'm just like, you Consign to Memory my Razaketh, which I get it. Razaketh, tutor, scary, but Kinnan Thrasios on field, you don't keep that for a Basalt.
I think that a big thing that we all need to remember here is that Cryptid's in clown makeup.
I am, yeah.
And this whole time.
Yeah. I was a sad clown, but I ended up losing. I wasn't too upset about it because I really just wanted somebody to win. Preferably me is what I said multiple times, where I was like, I want somebody to win, preferably me, but somebody needs to win. If all of us would have tied, I would have been completely done for the day. I mean, losing wasn't great because I was just like, well, I have to win round 4 and 5 now to get 12 points to get into top 16. So that wasn't great, but it was a fun match. It was fun to kind of have an off meta commander, but still, be doing stuff. It did show me that I need to edit my deck because I was just like, yeah, Topper Orb stops literally all 3 of my win cons. So I did take Astral Dragon win con out, and I put in its place Time Sieve, since I run Tivit anyway, and it's been good. I've been pushing with it. I pushed with it a couple times today. Not ever gotten it through in the 4 games I've played, but I've attempted with it each time, and it feels really good. But that was the learning I took away from it, and it was a fun game. So loss was sad, but not the end of days for me. What about you, your mistress? How'd you do?
So my round 3 was kind of interesting. I was I played against Master of Keys seat 1, Rog Thras seat 2, the Wandering Minstrel, and his companion was Luris, and then me in 4th seat on Tim Dargo. I'm super interested in Master of Keys. I play Rog Thras, and then the Wandering Emperor is still a commander that I'm super interested in that came out of Final Fantasy.
Isn't it the Wandering Minstrel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Emperor.
Oh.
It's same thing, but yeah.
It was one that we reviewed as a possible upcoming commander, I believe.
Five color cannon, basically.
Yeah, for sure. So the Master of Keys, early game, he like plays down a land, he leaves it open, he doesn't do anything. We're all just kind of setting up. He goes first. He entombs Abdel, and we're like, oh,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
oh, interesting. Do you think he's gonna go for it? You know, like turn 2, just like throw down a bunch of clones and then just be like, I don't know, beat through these, like you know. And sure enough, he does. He definitely attempts it. So I think it was Rog Thras who stops it with a Fierce Guardianship because I mean he has Rograk out. Like yeah. So it makes it back to my turn. The Wandering Minstrel really hasn't done anything, but like he has mana open. So I'm worried, and I end up like being like, I don't care. I'm doing this. On turn 3, I put down a Bolus's Citadel. Somehow it gets through. I didn't even politic for it. I think that they were all worried with the Master of Keys. And I think there was a play that Rog Thras that I forgot about, kind of put on the stack that the Wandering Minstrel actually used his interaction to stop. I get, I think, 3-4 cards in, and then I hit a land, and me not really playing Bolus's Citadel and not being Tim Dargo in my main deck, I didn't think about like, oh, I shouldn't have played a land, you know, maybe I could have gotten a little further. So I end up having to pass turn. The Master of Keys is not doing anything. He got blown out trying to win with a bunch of little 1/1 creatures early on. So Rog Thras gets up there. He goes Phyrexian Metamorph, and I'm going to clone your Bolus's Citadel. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I hope he hits nothing but, you know, counter spells or something, but they don't play a lot of counter spells anyway, so it's like, man, this one's going to be interesting, you know. The Wandering Minstrel ended up having some interaction. I don't know why he didn't stop the Bolus's Citadel. I guess was like, maybe I'll see some sort of win and I'll be able to stop it. I mean, he's in 4th seed anyways. Like, I'm in a good spot, or I'll try to win on top. Something. He did not do that. Instead, Rog Thras gets out Displacer Kitten, Clever Impersonator, Thrasios, Rhystic Study, Relic of Legends, all kinds of stuff. And then he ends up getting what's the 3 cost, 2 and a blue that when at ETBs you go get a Spellseeker. That's what it is.
Spellseeker.
He goes to get he eventually plays Spellseeker and is able to like blink it a couple times with Displacer Kitten. Well, eventually he runs out of mana. And he's not low on life, but he picks up the top card of his deck and has to call a judge. So I'm like, he doesn't tell us what it is even after or any of that, and I actually have to go track him down later on. It is Abhorrent Oculus.
Oh yeah,
the big eyeball that puts down like the creature's face down. Apparently, you cannot cast that from the top without paying the delve cost from the graveyard. So you have to exile 6 cards. He didn't have 6 cards in his graveyard. So
do you want me to just read the card?
Yeah, if you want.
So it's 2 generic and a blue creature eye. As an additional cost to cast the spell, exile 6 cards from your graveyard, flying. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, manifest dread. And it's a 5/5.
Yeah, so his turn goes on for like 15 minutes, you know, and then he eventually realizes like, I can't do anything. Like, I kind of messed up. I should have clone my own Displacer and then really been able to like do my rock over and over again with Thrasios and draw and been able to do what I wanted. And he said that later on after the game. I think at this point he ends up passing to the Wandering Minstrel, and it's maybe like 6 minutes left. The Wandering Minstrel puts down Underworld Breach. He starts going for it. He has no more cards in his hand. and he doesn't have brain freeze, but he's about to go get it with gamble. He plays gamble, and thank God that what's the master of keys is like, I have mental misstep. And he goes, I would like to propose a draw. And I'm like, oh my God, but I'm right here. Like, I can win. If it makes it to my
Yeah.
turn, I win. So they're all like, yeah. And I'm like, hold on, they're like, oh, like the whole table kind of like starts reacting and whatnot. And I just go, you know what? We have 2 minutes left. I don't think that, like, we can stop him even if you don't stop this. Like, when he puts win on stock, we can both activate our Bolus of Citadel to just kill him.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is I'm going to lose. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way to come back from saccharine my entire board just about. So we end up calling it a draw on that one.
So we're at round 3. You have 1 point.
Yep.
All right. I have 2 points, and then you have 5 points. 6 points. Oh, yeah, because you have a win, a loss, and a draw.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have 2 draws and a loss. You have a draw and 2 losses.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into round 4.
So I think here is a break. And I think
Yeah, we had lunch break between 3 and 4.
And the only reason I mention it is because we finally kind of meet up, because it was round after round after round.
Well,
like
you
we were
went to time every time. We had long breaks. Me and your
not.
mistress.
I'm gonna try to say it. You mistrix?
No, you mistrix.
That's what I just said. You mistrix.
Okay, that's better than your mistress.
Yeah, your matrix.
I wanted to give it a shot. I hadn't said it, and I was gonna. Anyway, the only reason I mention it is because I'm freaking out, and I had been round after round after round, all the times. But my round 4, I start to see a light. So it's another Krakashima in seat 1, a Kefka seat 2. I'm seat 3, Blue Farm, and then a Kinnan seat 4.
That's where I like to see Kinnan.
I'm looking at this table like, what are the chances of me playing a Krark in just about every one of my rounds? But they start out so strong, it is insane. So Krakashima drops a fish. Kefka looks at him and it's like, I've got this. Drops another fish. And they're feeding each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, my turn 1, I have like, I can rush out a bunch of stuff. I can do like a turn 2 Ristic or turn whatever Ristic. But I was like, I don't want to feed them. It doesn't make sense for me to cast a free spell and give 2 cards per thing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really listening to the guys for a minute because they, of course, they're wanting cards. But with 2 fish on the board, I didn't want to just dump my hand. Like, I had multiple, like, turn 1 rocks. Like, I was going to play maybe, like, 3 to 4 cards turn 1. And it just didn't make sense to get to that point, and give them, a total of, like, 6 cards. But I passed my first turn. I kind of hold out. Second turn, Kinnan drops like 1 rock, so so now they're up 2 cards. They go into the second turn with Krark, and he's like, "Yes, friend, please draw." And he's, "Well, thank you, friend. Now you draw." So I'm looking at their hands, and I'm like, I can't continue this. Like, I'm gonna have to just dump it. Like, we're going to dump all my cards out and just put a Ristic study immediately. So Krark is like, I'm going to pay the fish. And then Kefka's like, well, I'm going to pay the fish. And then they don't really do a whole lot because they're paying fish waiting. So I look at Kinnan and I go, man, I'm sorry. And I drop I go down to like 2 cards in hand from like 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Ristic's on the field now. By the time it got back to my turn, I had 9 cards in hand. I was like, that was the play.
Yeah.
Like, I had to.
I mean, if you give them more cards, they're probably casting more cards. And with Ristic Study, you just don't care what they cast. Yeah.
Exactly my thought. My thought was, you know what? There's no way I'm going to outbleed these because they're putting mana rock after mana rock down. Let's just go.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to weigh and go like, well, I'll definitely lose if I bleed them out. But I could potentially draw them both into wins, but maybe they'll boss monster fight each other and then I can sneak in. You know?
They didn't though. Like
Yeah.
It was insane. They looked at each other and they're like fist bumping. They're like, yes, let's go. Kefka got a little greedy and was like, I'm not gonna pay the fish. And I was like, oh, we're here. Because my Ristic Study's staying.
Yeah. I don't
And
have to pay for this. Like,
I believe I dropped another engine. I want to say it was a 1-drop for sure, so I don't know if it was Mystic or if it was it had to be Mystic. It was Mystic Remora. So I dropped my Mystic Remora, maybe one other thing. Go in like past turn, go into Kennen's turn. Kennen does something to Krakashima, like drops I think they had dropped a couple of Bowmasters and they were playing around Bowmasters, like pinging each other out. And I was like, I don't have anything. Like, I don't care what they ping. So Krakashima gets upset, or yeah, it was Krakashaka. He gets upset and he's like, I'm going to mess the entire board up. And just starts casting like little cantrip kill spells, like, I don't know, like not a gut shot, but a gut shot type feel. And I was like, can I draw 2? When I got to my turn after that, I had 40 cards in hand.
yeah.
I was like,
They just gave you a win.
yeah, I was
basically.
like, we're about to win this. So it gets to Kefka, and Kefka's looking at my hand, and he's like, you don't have anything to say about any of this on the field? I was like, not a thing.
Yeah.
And so it goes to my turn. Kefka's like, I'm going to keep up mana, and we're going to try to bleed him out. So I go, untap, upkeep, cast silence.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to counter this.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my hand. I'm like,
Go ahead. Yeah.
whatever.
I probably have a Grand Abolisher I can drop.
Exactly. So I kind of counter a little bit here and there. Like I use some of my free counters just to
why
kind
not?
of
Yeah.
just to try to bait them out. And like I'm looking at Kennen, and he has like a full grip. Krakashima has already kind of spilled most of his load on the counter spells, and I'm like, okay, we're good for the most part. And then Kefka's like, I got a couple. So I'm like, okay, counter that counter this counter that counter. I was like, well, I don't have any more counters. You got me through there. Grand Abolisher?
Yeah.
They were like, Swords to Plow, or no. They had another counter. And I was like, okay. Voice of Victory.
Yeah.
They were like, you had all of that? I was like, exactly.
Well, you drew me 40 cards, so yes. Yeah.
And I was like, they were like, well, how do you win? I was like, okay, so I've got to get kind of creative because I have no mana now. So I put out Underworld Breach and then try to get started on Underworld. And they're like, well, how do you mill? I was like, okay, so I'll brain freeze the table, but we're in time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. He was like, so you're going to brain freeze and then what, pass? And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to brain freeze my stuff out and then cast Thassa.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, you got it. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't going to pass, because if you did, we wouldn't have lost.
Or brain freeze, wheel of fortune. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But so I did get my win. So first win, round 4.
Yeah. So speaking of that, when you get to round 4, mathematically, you're not playing with good people. We can just say that. Like, I think that's a there might be some people that just luck of the draw didn't win any of their 3 rounds, but when you get to seat round 4 with 2 points, 1 point, you're not really playing people that are really taking the game too seriously. So we show up to our 4th round. Our first seat is just not there. We wait for 5 minutes, still not there. We call a judge, and the judge is like, I'm going to give you a time extension. This guy split one of his sleeves during the break, and he has to buy new sleeves and re-sleeve. And we're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So we have to wait for him to re-sleeve somewhere in the thing. And 10, 15 minutes later, he shows up. And we're all just kind of like, what's going on? You know? And I mean, the judge is like, however late he is, we'll give you an extension. Like, he split a sleeve. He has to re-sleeve the entire thing. And he shows up, and his deck is just like, a gust of wind looks at it wrong, and the whole thing just topples over. So, like, we're having to, like, if he's like on his turn, we're having to put our hands on the side of his deck so that his deck doesn't fall over. Like, it was kind of a mess. But he's on Dragon. I'm on Hashton. Seat 3 was Tim Nadargo, and he had just went over to the deck, like, had not really had much practice. And then seat 4 was Najila, and he started out just being like, I'm a Beats Najila, I'll always be a Beats Najila. And I was just like, oh no. Yeah. So we're playing, and really I should have aggressively mulliganed. Like, I did my free mulligan, and at this point, like, I know I have to win the next 2 rounds. I'm kind of just in one of those, like, we're here. Like, the clown makeup, I've had it on for hours. I've been sweating. Like, my face feels suffocated. And because it feels suffocated, I'm feeling, like, hotter than I really should. And I'm also sweating because it's, like, grease makeup. Like, something that you're supposed to be able to wear all day, but, like, not be comfortable all day. So I just kind of, I shouldn't have, but I was just like, this is good enough. I'll just keep it. I play a tutor round 1, and everybody's like, yep, it goes through. And I'm just like, oh no. So, like, no one kept any interaction. Like, what do I even tutor for here? And I'm looking, and I'm just like, I guess Rog Timna is probably going to go off. I'll go get a Ghostly Pilfer. I can drop it round 2, potentially get a whole bunch of draw. And then, like, maybe I can get somewhere with it. And, like, looking back, not a great tutor, but that my hand was just bad. Next, everybody goes. They don't really do much of consequence. Second turn, I play the Ghostly Pilfer and pass. No one's really drawn me any cards from it. And I'm kind of just in a, like, I guess if I get set up, like, I'll be okay. I do need to draw into, like, a biggie, but, like, I can get my hash ton out, and I have my discard engine. Turn 4, I can really start doing stuff. So we go to Dragon. Dragon drops, like, has been ramping mana the entire time. Deathrite Shaman, rocks, and they drop a Smothering Tithe. And I'm just like, hey guys, like, if Dragon gets to 11 mana, and they only need 5 colors, so the treasures will get them there. If they get to 11 mana, they just win. And the guy's just like, well, yeah, but that's kind of mana intensive. And I'm just like, you have 7 mana right now. Like, you're going to drop a Smothering Tithe and then pass with mana up. And I was just like, if we're not doing anything of consequence, we really need to pay for it. And then also, my Ghostly Pilfer is not a May. I have to draw. So just keep that in mind. And of course, the other 2 people are just like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, no, like, I'll tell you exactly how he's going to win. He's going to play Dragon. He's going to spend 2, get the black-green dragon out. That will turn it into something where he just cheats all the rest of his dragons out. And then he gets the Grand Abolisher Dragon next to keep his turn silence. And then he gets hoarding broodlord.
Yeah.
And then from there, just tosses out or, whatever. They don't listen to me. They're just like, yeah, whatever. And like, I can see a little smirk on the guy's face where he's like, that guy just told them exactly how I'm about to win, and they don't believe him. So we pass, and he has like 12 mana. Like it's done. And then he's just like, I'm gonna do exactly like plays Dragon, and I'm like, guys, this is done. They're like, well, you don't have a swords, and I was just like, why would I have a swords? I've been paying for the smothering tithe. Like I could not do anything on my turn, so I paid for the smothering tithe and passed. Like I was hoping you guys could draw me into something and I could have the 2 mana to save us. And they're like, well, I don't have anything. It's like, well, you're Najila, like you're 5 color, you're Tim Nadargo. You have access to all the kill spells, and like none of us have a kill spell. And they're like, yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay, just show us exactly what I told him. And he kind of smirks and he's like, so I'm going to pay 2 and I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And then I was like, okay, exactly what I said. I'm like trying not to be like smart, but like, it's hard for me not to be because I told them exactly what's going to happen and none of them did anything to stop it. So he just wins. Like he gets a free win. And at this point I only have 2 points. So I'm going to play the 5th round, but there's no point. 7 points won't get me anywhere. Top 16 out of 110 is like a really tough cut. So I know I'm done. And I'm also just like, a little disappointed that's how my Atlanta tournament pretty much comes to an end. Your mistress, you want to go next with your round 4?
Round 4 was not a fun one for sure. Round 4, it was Lumra, me, Tim Nadargo, me on Tim Nadargo in second seat, and then Radadrabic and Kefka. I immediately am like, okay, I am a huge fan of being in pods where there's lots of blue. Like I immediately expect it, and I think the game's controlled, and I'm like, yes, there's plenty of blue at the table. I'm not worried about being countered. You want to counter my stuff? Go for it. That's fine. I can either politic my way out of it and, make them use it for a better use, or it just feels a lot better to be in a pod where there's at least 2 blue players. Anything more is like fantastic. Anything less is kind of like, what's it looking like? So this is one of those pods where I only have 1 blue player, and he is in 4th seat on Kefka. I keep a hand that I go down to 6. Kefka goes down to 6. I keep a hand of Taro. My plan immediately is like, I can get Taro out. Turn 1, give Kefka a card and me a card, and then get me a treasure, and we'll be cooking with gas, like let's go. Lumra has his own plans. He goes, turn 1, Lumra says, land, exploration, Urza Saga, Mana Vault. And it's like, oh, this is where this is going. Like, okay, sure, there's not a lot of communication at the table, which I wish there would have been more. I think we were all kind of undertaken by Lumra. He definitely ran through us. There was a point when I will say there was a huge mistake happen, and I think it was the Kefka player seemed a bit new. So I think we're going into turn 3 because it's right before we lost. Yeah, it's right before we lost. We're going into turn 3, and no, we're going into turn 2. Radadrabic drops down a Nazgul. He has nothing else on the field. He has a Ancient Tomb, a land, and he's throwing down a Nazgul. The Kefka player looks at me and goes, should I counter this? And I was like, you should have countered the Lumra that came out to turn 2. That was a much better play. And like, I was like, yeah, don't counter that. Instead, like, try to set up or deal with Lumra, because Lumra's the problem. And he's like, okay, I got you. So he gives some givens for 2 lands, I think a counter, and then something else. And it was just like, oh man, this is not going well. Like, okay, Lumra just goes in on us turn 3. His turn 3, it was our turn 2. We never made it to turn 3. Lumra was able to play Lumra. Radadrabic played the Flare of Malice to kill Lumra. And in response, which I think was also out of timing, but it's weird to know that the Radadrabic player placed, I think, like, that's what I was looking up a minute ago. I think he placed like 8th or 9th or something like that. So it was higher than me. I wasn't really worried about this round, knowing that I think of the 9 people that I'd played before me, I think it was like 4 or 5 of them were in the table before me, and we were on table 5. So I was like, I have a good chance, even if I lose here, I just have to win the next one, and I'm either on the bubble or I'm right there. And that's we ended up losing the Loomer. Loomer just destroyed us.
All right, round 5. So wait, oh sorry, you're at 6 points.
6 points.
I'm at 2 points. You're at 6 points. Yeah. And I'm really hoping that round 5 you guys go against each other.
I was looking forward to going up against you, Mistrix, and it didn't happen. However, again, I was in time pretty much on my last one, so I'm rushing to get to the table. Everybody has already sat down. I get kind of in. I fist bump everybody. I'm like, hey, sorry, I've been in time every game that I've had. But this one was seat 1 was Kennen. Seat 2 was the God Tree. Is that the name of it?
Sika.
Sika the
Sika.
God Tree.
Yeah.
Marnius, and then I'm seat 4. I was like, hoo. This is already rough. We're dealing our hands out, like we're getting our hands together, and I keep looking at Kennen. Like, I probably should have a little more respect for Marnius, but I don't have a whole lot. Marnius,
Yeah, it's kind of fell to tier 4 somewhat.
It's always like turn 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are, if I can get a turn 3 hand, to where I'm doing okay or farming really good by turn 3, I can stop Marnius. It's the Kennen I got to worry about. So as I'm drawing card, and I don't even know what to do about the God Tree. Like, you don't see that very often. But I get my first hand. I'm like, I'm going to have to mulligan. I get the second hand, and I'm like, I'm going to mulligan down to 6. And then I get a hand that's just okay. But the Kennen's like, I'm going to have to mulligan down to 5. I was like, hoo, we're good here. So we start the game. Kennen not really doing a whole lot. The God Tree, I'm not real sure what they have going on most of the time. And then Marnius, we're going to mid game, which is great for me. Marnius drops down a opposition agent on my fetch land.
Yeah, as you do.
My second land of the game. And I'm like, oh man, that's bad. So I'm upset, but I look at Kennen, and Kennen's just devastated. And I'm like, I can work with this. Like, we're as long as it's not just me, we're okay. And Marnius grabs a land out of my deck, and then he's looking at my deck, and he's like, "This deck is scary." I was like, "It's blue farm, man. Like, that's what it does." So I'm kind of confident now that he's not played a lot, So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just continue to farm. Like, farming is my utmost priority right now. So I play and play and play, and we get to the end, and there's so much bad on the table. Like, there's still the op agent. We're like 4 or 5 turns out of the op agent. There's all these other things going on, and Marnius has decided he's going to go for it. I was like, okay, well, I've got something funny I could do, but I need somebody to play 2 spells so I can get another treasure. Nobody has any. But I show God Tree that I have a Psych Rift Overload. Well, I had enough mana on the field, but most of it was tapped. So Marnius messes up somewhere, and he's like, I can't win through this. There's something here. Something happened. And he passes to me, and on untap, I'm like, Psych Rift Overload. Everybody is just devastated. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna drop everything I can right now while everybody has their stuff in their hands. And it goes through the table and everybody is just setting up. And I end up this is a long time into it, so we're at time. Time happens as soon as I start my turn. And I was like, I think I can win this with Mnemonic. So I Mnemonic Betrayal, piece together a Thassa combo with like a piece of bubble gum and a chopstick. Like I had to. It was crazy. Like I had to Mnemonic Betrayal a somebody's Consultation and then somebody's Tainted Pact and then cast Thassa. But I win. and like we're the last table. I think no, there was one other one.
Yeah.
But there's 2 tables left. And the judges are like walking by and they're all looking and like everybody's just kind of staring at our game. And they're like, how did he even get Thassa out? I was like, I don't even know. We did it. I won.
Yeah, my round 5 is not even worth talking about, but I will. So I sat down at the table and I look at everybody and I'm like, we're all at 2 or less points, right? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, so at this point, we're just playing for fun. Apparently, what they thought playing for fun meant was let's just do random stuff. So I did not mean that. I was actually going to try to at least get a win. And I'm kind of discouraged at this point because I know even if I win, like there's no point, like with 7 points. I've also had clown makeup on for like almost 8 hours at this point. I'm not really going to go into a play-by-play or like what commanders were there. Just it doesn't really matter. There was the bird Iskai, I think. Ishai, and then the black planeswalker that costs 5. Tevish, yeah. So that was one of the commanders, Kennen and then Glarb. And it's just I played a Bowmaster to deal with like some mana dorks on Glarb's side, and it just becomes everybody is gonna take my Bowmaster. And my Bowmaster went around the table. I got it back 2 times, but everybody took it 3 times. So the same Bowmaster changed control 5 times. And that's just, how the game went. Glarb is the only one that's kind of playing serious. And Glarb just kind of is like, oh, I have Doomsday in hand, and plays Doomsday and then wins on their Doomsday pile. And everybody else is just like, how did this happen? And I'm just like, my Bowmaster went around 5 different times for no reason. We were just all fighting over it, and Glarb was just building the entire time. But I lost that one, and I'm pretty disheartened at this point. I'm just like, I hope the other dudes get top 16, because maybe I'll drop them off tomorrow and go have a day in Atlanta by myself. But like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I hope all of us gets top 16 or none of us get top 16. And I'm not getting top 16, so let's see how their games are. And then you're Mr. Axe. What's your round 5?
So round 5, I'm like, I have to win this. So I get a decent hand turn before the mulligan, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna mulligan to 5 if I have to. My first mulligan opens me up to the craziest hand. It is Ancient Den, Esper Sentinel, Mox Opal, a Mana Vault, and a Relic of Legends, and then I think Command Tower, another land. I draw into a Silence, and I'm like, I'm 1 card away. I am right here. So I play the Ancient Den. Oh, forgot to mention who was there. So I'm in seat 1. It's me on Tim Dargo, Obnix turned in seat 2, Kennen on seat 3, Malcolm Kedis on seat 4. So I play out Ancient Den, Esper, Mox Opal, Mana Vault. And I'm like, all right, and I'll throw down, and I'll leave the Relic of Legends in hand. I'm not going to reveal that I have literally everything in hand, you know. I pass Obnix. He plays like a land, like a rock or something like that. And Kennen, he drops Land Dork, I think Chrome Mox, and then we go to Malcolm Kedis. Malcolm Kedis does a couple things, nothing really crazy. I think he gets his commander out turn 1 maybe or something like that. I'm not crazy about it. I think I get a couple draws off of Esper, and one of those draws is Goblin Bombardment. I have win in hand. I have Relic of Legends, Silence, Goblin Bombardment. I don't know why I didn't go for it turn 2. Instead, I was just like, I think there's too much going on. So I pass the turn to Obnix. I think I throw out Katimna and just pass the turn. Obnix does nothing really. I think he plays down the 2-cost enchantment that deals everyone 1 damage. So it's like, yeah, cool, thanks. That's appreciated, I guess. Whatever. Kennen decides he is not happy with what's going on, or like he thinks he's gonna start going for it here and now. He throws down Seedborn Muse, and I can see the fear in Malcolm Kedis's hand is just like, oh god, like oh my god, this is over, you know, like we're not making it. I think he tries to counter it. Kennen counters it. I draw 2 cards off of each one of those. I think at this point I have everything I could ever possibly want to win. I just need to get to my turn to win. And Malcolm, so Kennen passes his turn to Malcolm Kedis. Malcolm Kedis is like, I'm going to put down Kedis and I'm going to attack with Malcolm and I'm going to get however many treasures, whatever it is. He completely taps out, so fearful of Seedborn Muse that he overloads a Psych Rift. And I'm like, oh my god, it is all here. Like I have every rock plus 1 more because I drew a Chrome Mox. I just have to get to my turn. And he just tapped out, and now it is my turn. So I untap, play my 3rd land. I go Mox Opal, Mana Vault. I think I drew a Lotus Petal, played Chrome Mox. I tap for the Relic of Legends. I tap for the Goblin Bombardment. And I realized that, like, I think I even have Underworld Breach in my hand at this point. Like, I am there plus 5. And I see no counters, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I have the 2 pieces. Now I just got to do the right thing. I play out a Ragavan, and then I tap the Ragavan for a white, and I play Silence. I think I have, like, 2 mana out there, and they're just like, sure, you know, like, I don't know how you win here, like, sure, bud. And then I sack off Ragavan, Mana Vault, and Mox Opal, cast Dargo, and they all kind of look at me, and I go, I'm going to tap Dargo for red. Now I'm going to sack him off and deal you 1 damage. And he kind of looks at me, and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to recast Dargo. I'm going to tap him for 1 red, sack him, deal you 1 damage. And he kind of looks at me and goes, do you win? I was like, yeah, I win here. So I ended up winning. And we waited for the results to come out, and I thought I was on the bubble. I got 19th, so I was right. I think at 1 draw ended up 1 guy drawing twice or something like that, and then getting 2 wins was what pushed me out.
I don't even think it was that.
Oh, really?
No, because we were... It had to do with win rate, and because 2 or 3 people got in...
Oh, well, 3 11 points made it.
I was the highest 11 point. You were the lowest 11 point. That's what I was saying.
No, there was 3 11 points that got in.
That's what.
Yeah. It was your opponent win rate only, and nothing you could have done about it. Like,
oh, okay.
I mean, we could. So initially, we wanted the people that had points to continue getting them and then just move up.
It's because both of you got your last win on the last round. So the other people got their wins earlier, so they were going against better people.
I heard.
Yeah. But I mean, there was like 9 people that had 11 points and only 3 of them got in. Yeah. So it was a really tough cut. Like,
and I believe something like you were 19th and I was like 21st
21st
or so.
I was 85th.
We were right there.
I was close. Just 2 more wins would have definitely got me there.
But I was hopeful that I would have been in the bubble. I was not. I mean, we were close.
But we all had an amazing day on a mountaintop the next
Yeah,
day. So
yeah.
at least we got something out of it.
I did you. We each go to quite a few tournaments. For you guys, personally I seen a lot of not weird commanders, but off metas.
Yeah.
So
Not as many blue farm as I'm used to. Like,
I definitely had the conversation with, I guess, a local. I think he was from Tennessee, and he goes to this quite often. And me and him got to talking. He was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Texas." Like, and he was like, "Oh, what's the meta like that?" And I was like,
all blue farm.
yeah. Like they literally, I think a little Mora, he had talked about it. He was like, "Here is this place, and they have 60 something players. 21 of these people are playing Blue Farm. This
Yeah.
is nuts." And it's like, yeah, that's normal. Like,
It's funny that a lot of people got off blue farm and went to green farm, and then everybody was like, actually, I think I could still win with blue farm after the bans.
I think that blue farm is higher, but I think it's all of the top metas decks is what we normally see. So be it, Tivit, which is kind of fell off a little bit, but like Roxai, Sisse.
I can go over the top 5 meta share for the last 3 months, because that would be after the shakeups. It's blue farm at 8.8%, Kinnan at 5.6%, so 3.2% difference between 1 and 2. Green farm is at 4.3%, Rogthras is at 4.2%, and then Sisse is at 2.7%, and then everything else is just
in the middle.
yeah, just all under 2.5%.
But I mean, that to me, if I had to say, because this was our furthest away tournament.
Yeah.
If I had to say so.
There were definitely not 9 blue farms at this. Like, yeah.
I felt like there was like 9 Krarks, because I played a Krark.
I never played one.
I played a Krark in just about every one. And then Kinnan was probably like, I don't know. I seen at least 3.
I felt like I saw a lot of Timna Dargo everywhere. It was very interesting being out there, and I appreciate not being like blue farmed to death, to be honest with you. It was really nice to just get out there and be like, oh, there are people playing things that are like not a specific like corner. Yeah, everyone and their mom is just like, blue farm it is.
Yeah. And I can go over top 16. So number 1, Kinnan. Number 2, Kinnan. Number 3, Rogthras. Number 4, Kefka. Number 5, Dargo Timna. Number 6, Lumara. Number 7, Vivi. Number 8, Tevish Thras. Number 9, Wandering Mistral. 10th, Kinnan. 11th, Rogthras. 12th, Kenrith. 13th, Rogthras. 14th, Dargo Timna. 15th, Ral Monsoon Mage. And then 16th, Ratted Brick of Urbarg. So, there was a lot of Rogthrases, and there were 3 Kinnans in top 16.
Yeah, I felt like Kinnan was in most pods.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there was a odd amount of Krarks. I mean, if you see one Krark, you're kind of like, okay. I've seen at least 3.
Well, none of them made it to top 16. There was an Atraxa in 18th place. There was a Flubs in 26th place.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I have still not seen a Krark. Oh, you're Garuda in 35th. Oh, here it is. 38th place, Krark Thras, which, out of 110 people, like, pretty good. I got 85th, so I can't really say anything.
I think how my wins came, it kind of bracketed me a little bit lower in, but it was pretty dominant. Like, I haven't played that many Krarks ever, and I played other 100-man tournaments too.
There were four 4 out of 110 Krark decks.
It was a lot.
And then there were nine blue farms there. See how many hash tons. There's one hash ton in 85th place.
How many Dargos were there?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I guess Dargo. There were 6.
I felt like I saw them everywhere.
And there were 13 Kinnons.
Yeah, I felt like Kennen was up there. I just thought it odd to see so many Krarks.
Yeah. No, it was a interesting tournament with 110 people. I never felt like any of my pods were normal. I mean, going against 2 Analas round 1 was like pretty crazy. But I mean, overall, it was a lot of fun. It was surprising how Atlanta was only 12 hours away. Like it's weird to me to go, oh, okay, I can drive 12 hours and be in Atlanta, Georgia. Like in a work shift, I can be in Atlanta, Georgia, which that's where the new Magic Con is in 2 months. I do not see me doing that again in 2 months, but like it's crazy just to look at my car and be like, if I decide to just get in my car and drive all day, I can be in some crazy place. You know?
I will say that also this was probably the biggest event we did as far as I don't want to say celebrities, but I mean, I guess people with clout. Because I mean, realistically, in the niche, they are pretty high up there. But just to play so many, and just to see their tactics and what they do, and what's going on, it was interesting that they go to these, and so did we. I mean, I guess.
I'll say I really enjoy seeing them. I don't want to talk to them, and I'm not like I think I've spent enough time around people who are like bigger names and stuff like that, where like I know to not like fan about them or anything like that, but it's interesting to watch their games and their politics, like how they go about being like, hey, I really want this to like clear, but what do I have to do, or how does this in what world does this clear, and some of the conversations are a little simpler. I think one of the best things that I've learned from Comedian was talking about like your social credit at the table. Like how believable do you come off as a player, or like what kind of arguments do you put at the table to make things more believable or swayed into your favor?
He was really quiet at my table. Like I think he was just like, this guy talks more than I do. Like it's like I just asked him what he was going to do with the Tainted Pact, and he gave me an honest answer. Like, and that answer I did not like.
Yeah, he I had a whole lot of politics in my first round with both of the streamers there, but initially it was after the consultation in my favor to go ahead and try to draw it every chance I could. So but I mean, I had a lot of fun too, man.
Yeah, what I took away is I need to mulligan more aggressively, and I also need to make sure that like my deck is built to win. There are definitely some things that I saw in my deck that I was like, these like days, for example, it's like it's tied be a game before. Just the fact that I had days, and I've been holding on to it ever since, because I'm like, well, because I had days, I was able to tie this game, and like if I didn't have days, I wouldn't have gotten that extra point. But now I'm just like, well, if I take out days and I put in this crazy card that helps me win, maybe I just would have won instead. So it's letting go of those pet cards that have like been pivotal in previous tournaments, and then just go like, how do I make this deck win? Because I'm not trying to sheriff the table in Esper. Like I want to do that a little bit, but at the end of the day, my goal is to win within 80 minutes. So I need to find a way to win within 5 or 6 turns, and that I took my deck apart. I think I took out like 6 cards, put 6 new cards in, and I was just like, okay, this pushes wins better. What did you learn? Your mistress.
I think that I just need to talk more and like be. I think because I've played another player where I felt like that I'm close to now at my career of playing Magic is that talking to the table and just making sure that everyone understands what's going on. You know, like if you can see some deck that's like Lumra, like for example, round 4 of mine. Like I knew it was fast, but I was kind of unsure about how fast it was, and I need to be better at recognizing points of interaction and then like trying to get people into it. And I think that kind of ties back into like my idea of, or not my idea, but like the idea of social credit at the table is like I prefer not to talk until like I see points of capitalization, but like not always do I see points of like, hey, this has to stop or this cannot happen, you know? And I think that sort of thing. I mean, because like my game plan, honestly, on Tim Dargo is like, I need to set up a grind engine, but I need to not seem too scary or I'm gonna attract too much attention. You know, like my favorite point of any game, honestly, on Tim Dargo is like, oh, you two are gonna fight over something? Thank God.
Yeah.
You know, like now you're not gonna counter whatever I'm doing.
I'm pretty good. I finished 85th. I talk the entire game, so I build social credit the entire time.
I would say also Cryptid was also famous. So
The TikTok that they made, and they put it on Facebook too. Whenever I was playing, I saw somebody get in with like a really nice camera and get like a close up on my face. And I was in the TikTok right in the middle, and they like stopped on me, and they're like, "Look at this clown playing Magic." It was fun. I would never do it again. But while I did not walk away with a prize, I did walk away with some life experience, I guess. And you can't put a price on that. So actually, I was the biggest winner out of the tournament, out of all of us. So
personally, I kind of. Like you were saying, as far as trying not to be the threat type of thing, there's no real way for Blue Farm to not.
Yeah.
So also people look at you and they're like, please save us. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
you just have to trick people into letting you draw is kind of what I've seen with Blue Farm. And like, it doesn't work on me because I'm just like, oh, I played 2 Blue Farms for like a year. Shut up. Like, you know,
And well,
it's like I'm always paying your stuff first. Like,
we also, if we're in a tournament, we usually try to draw that round if we're matched together.
oh yeah.
And a lot of it's because
We'll just stop each other. We know exactly what each other does.
somebody else wins because we're countering. But for me, I think I'm going to try to move on to another deck and see how that works. I've already built it out and I've kind of been fiddling with it. I did copy a list and kind of edited just to get my lands and everything together. But I haven't played green in a long time, and I'm really interested to jump back into green.
You, Mr. Sex, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
On ArtStation Cully1, or you can find me on Instagram as Cully. I think it's _Cully_Kniff_. I think those are the best ways to go about it. Or if you have Discord and you just want to message me about paintings or art in any general way, or even Magic, I'm down. My Discord name is Umastrix, UMASTRYX, and then a period at the bottom, and you just send me a friend request.
And if you leave a comment on the video, I will pin the comment so everybody can find it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, so that is you, Mr. Sex. Look for that comment. Hopefully coming up there won't be as many set reviews. I know that Spider-Man is already pretty much spoiled, and then we've got Avatar, and I'm just really hoping we have some non-set review videos. I wanted to get this one out just because we had drove like over 24 hours to go to this giant tournament. We will have an episode on politics. We kind of touched on that a little bit here, but I want to make a like whole episode so people can be like, oh, I want to learn more about CDH, and like they'll have like, you know, a breakdown of this is what we do, like this is what we recommend. Because there's no right way to do it. Really, there's a lot of right ways, but there's definitely wrong ways too. So. But I think that is it for this podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment, subscribe, rate us 5 stars.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.